What's up, everybody? It's Daddy De Leon Core, and this is Pure Tentacion. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. I hope that you find the inspirations in this video useful for you to become the best you that you can be. For everyone else, welcome back. I missed you so much. So today I wanted to talk about a very sensitive topic, and it's that a lot of times, as hard as it may be or as challenging as it may be, this actually shouldn't actually be hard at all, but got to cut your parents off, particularly these very toxic mothers. You know, a toxic parent in your life can do a lot more damage than you think. I know a guy, right? And his mother was a covert, well, is a covert narcissist. She's still alive. And she always kept him in this very confusing place of, this is actually you doing this. Like all these reactions that you are having to the abuses that I've exposed you to. It's your fault. It's something that you're doing. Either you're not strong enough. Although I show you that I don't accept you, I'm blaming that it's really you not accepting yourself. And this caused him so much confusion, anger, and strife throughout his entire life. Luckily, he was able to wake up and really stand on business and choose himself and know that in order for him to really grow, he had to unfortunately cut his mother off. I talk to a lot of people sometimes when I do readings for folks and the situations with these mothers, and a lot of times, sometimes it's their fathers too, but the father typically cannot really cause a lot of damage unless the son is super weak. Like if you don't have a high enough esteem. So this is what I've learned. The fathers typically destroy the female children more, and the mothers usually destroy the male children. So I'm particularly talking about the experiences I've had with male clients who have come to me for readings or healing, etc., etc. And what I've noticed is that, their fathers really didn't have a huge impact on them because somehow, because of their father was absent, number one. And number two, because the abuse that they experienced from their mother, they were able to somehow get some esteem. Like they were somehow able to get courage to where like they were just able to look at their dad like, yes, something's wrong with you. But it's something about male children and their mothers that it's just hard to break that relationship. No matter how toxic or abusive the caregiver is, male children, and female children too, tend to run to their abusers if they don't know any better. So I really want to encourage you to really use some discernment and figure out what's going on. If you've been feeling like you've been having, you know, setbacks and you've been really confused about the relationship between you and your caregivers and you've expressed it the best way that you can and you're constantly getting pushback. I remember one guy was telling me that he came to his mother and said, there's some things that you did to hurt me. And the entire conversation that he had with his mother, she kept deflecting. She kept projecting. And by the end of the conversation, he was trying to circle back because she was able to take the conversation and flip it and then like go a completely different direction. Once he brought the conversation back to, hey, I really just want to talk about, these things that you did to hurt me so that we can work on this. And she responded with, well, what about what you did to hurt me? And he said in that moment, he knew, I got to get this bitch up out of here. probably, that probably wasn't the best. It probably wasn't the best way to describe that. But I'm telling you, man, your toxic parents are the reasons why you are constantly in unhealthy relationships, or why you're afraid to be vulnerable, why you get upset when sometimes people aren't really critiquing you. Sometimes people aren't really like trying to be rude, but the fact that you were constantly abused, picked on by your caregivers, parents, and elder aunts and uncles, you feel so triggered by pretty much anything, authority, etc., etc. Your abandonment wounds, all these things come from unhealthy, unhealed, and abusive caregivers. Now, the covert narcissist is probably one of the most like dangerous beings in the life of a scapegoat or a victim, etc., etc., because these people have been able to master the art of hiding all of their evil qualities. And they're typically surrounded by what we call flying monkeys. And these people want to be, they feel some benefit from the narcissist. Somehow they probably get some sick energy exchange from them. But this covert narcissist pretty much lives their entire lives cloaking themselves, and nobody really ever knows the real them. I was there. I have another client that works with a girl, and she is always complaining about everything. And she's always blaming everyone for her strife. Everyone's out to get her, etc., etc. So one day they were in the lunchroom, and you know, he noticed that when she would ask for some of his food, like she would take like the biggest portion that she could. Like every time that she would ask for some of his food. And he said that these are little things that he would notice that was made him think, I don't know why any of the other stuff didn't trigger that. Oh my God, this girl's probably this, the way she thinks that her opinion is just superior. This superiority complex that she had is just automatic red flag for narcissism. But he said something about when he would share with her, she would like take most of it, most of whatever it was that he was sharing. And he said he mentioned to her, you know, I think you're a narcissist. And it was probably like in a kind way. And she flipped out and he had to distance himself. I even have an ex friend of mine who was always in like really unhealthy relationships with men, and you know, it was a cycle of like her picking the wrong people to be in her life. And when she would talk to me about it, you know, at first when I first met her, I had the tendency to want to kind of like save her life. So I would stay on the phone with her for hours and tell her all the things that she could do. But I noticed that this bitch, you've been doing this. This is like big going on. This is over 365 days that you've been going through the same shit with different folks. And somehow none of it is your fault. So I gave her some readings, right? I was giving her a reading on a situation between her and her a girlfriend of hers, and she said, you know, she thinks that the guy that she was seeing was sleeping with the girl, and she's always